Hey guys, what's up? Working on this Ford here. I'll show you what I got. Made a little bit of headway on it. I got the bottom of this door all ground out. Maybe the light on the camera will be better. Oh yeah. See, I got it all ground out the best I could. What happens here is the water comes out of these drain holes there and up here, and the water drips out of here and it sits on this lip, and it looks like it pooled right there and it pooled right in here, but it comes out of here and it does the same thing. That's why the bottoms of these doors rust, because the water just drips out and sits right on top of this lip and works its way down behind there. That's why when I fix these, I usually put a nice thin layer of Duraglass there. That way when the water does come out of the drain holes, it just slides off. There's no lip for it to sit on anymore. And then I cover that with the rubberized chip guard or the rocker panel coating. And that keeps the water from even penetrating the Duraglass. And Duraglass is waterproof, so it's just double insurance to make sure the water will come out of these holes and just keep going instead of sitting here eating away at the bottoms of your doors. That's why I do it that way. Now granted, if you ever had to do a door skin on this, it'd be a bitch to dig out all that Duraglass, but we're not worried about that right now. We're working with rust. I cut this bad boy the fuck out. Yup. And yeah, you can see the loveliness up in there on the inner structure. Yup. Not doing anything with that. Here's the piece of the rocker. You know, I'd like to cut out more, because if you guys see the back side, yeah. Yup. It sort of stops there. At least the undercoating still stuck to it, but it's underneath the undercoating factory primer. But I'd like to have cut out more on this, but I'm not gonna. I was gonna leave it that length there, but then the metal was super thin. The metal was super thin right here, and I wasn't trying to weld to that, so I cut out another 2 inches until I came up to some nice thick metal that'll be easier to weld to. But you guys can see in there, it goes the whole way down on the inside of that rocker, and we're not getting a whole replacement panel. Let's see if I can get it in there. We're not getting a whole replacement panel to fix this car, guys. We're just making a panel. So I'm not replacing that whole rocker. It needs to be replaced back up in here, all the way back up and behind the bed right here on this seam, because when I showed you guys the inside of this rocker, there's rust right here. So it needs to be cut all the way out. It needs a cab corner and it needs the rocker. But yeah, we're just fixing her and we get her by for a while, I guess. It'll be a while before the rest of the rust that's on the back of that rocker actually comes through, and probably at that time it'll be 3-4 years down the road, and I don't even know if they'll have it anymore. And if they do, I guess they'll be buying a whole replacement panel. I mean, it's not like it won't be fixable. But yeah, that's what I'm up to, guys. I got the other 2 doors on the other side. I got to grind out and do that. I got rust mort here. I guess I wanted to show you guys that. I'll show you on this door. Nothing special here with the rust mort. I just take, if I can find one. Yeah, I thought I had a paint cup laying around. Huh. I guess I could use this one. I just gotta dump the water out of it from my wet sanding. Oh man, that door's shut. Bear with me. Okay, got that. Get a white ball. Yep. It is light. But I just dumped water out of this cup. It was a wet sanding cup. Now I'm going to take a wipe ball and just wipe her out real good. Anyway, rust more. It's over here. You don't mix anything with it or nothing. But you got to pour it into a different container to use it. And whatever you have left over, you have to get rid of, because if you put it back in here, the little rust particles from dipping a brush in and out and then dumping it back in will get eaten up. Oh, who's calling me? But dump a little bit in here. A little bit of this stuff goes a long way. But I just dump a little bit in the paint cup. Not a whole lot. And I'm just going to use this brush. I suppose you could spray this, but it's just as easy to brush it. All I do is get my brush nice and wet. This stuff smells like vinegar, guys. You know, I really don't think it's anything special. But I just brush this stuff on top of the rust here. It's hard for me to get you guys a good view. Probably have my hand over the mic, huh? Yep, I probably did. But anyway, I just brush this stuff on top of the rust. Nice heavy thick coat. And what that does is it converts the rust, I don't know, it at least turns it black. And then you can do whatever you're gonna do on top of it. But whether it works or not, I don't know. I used it on a Taurus one time, and 6 months later the rust came back. But I think I kind of used the DA and probably DA'd it all off, so I'm not sure what happened with it. But yeah, that's how you rust mort something. It's actually pretty damn simple. And turn that light off. And yeah, that's all I'm up to. So I'm going to grind out these 2 doors over on this side, and I'm going to rust mort them. And then I'm going to show you guys cutting out the patch there. I'm going to use the Chevy hood and make a patch for a Ford. But yeah, I'll turn you guys back on when I'm making that patch, because grinding out the bottom of the doors I think is pretty much self-explanatory. I just hit it with my angle grinder with a nice grinding wheel on it until all the rust is gone, and then all the pits I hit with a wire wheel on my die grinder and work that down into all the little pits, and I try to get all the rust off that I can, and then it gets rust mortared, and then it's going to get Duraglassed. But yep, I'm going to grind out those 2 other sides of the doors. And then I'll turn you guys back on when I cut my patch. So, later. Okay guys, I'm going to attempt to show you how I make my repair panels. I just take the pieces I cut out. I lay them on something flat like a concrete floor. And all I do is hammer them flat. all I do is hammer them flat like that, and then I come over to the piece I'm going to use back here. This is my test panel for a different bunch of stuff for my truck before I came up with what I wanted. But I'm going to use right here because it's a nice flat area on this hood. Just like that. What that does there, that gives me a template for what I need to trace out for my patch. I can't really hold you guys and trace at the same time. Let's see if I can get you halfway set up here. I don't fucking know. Probably not. Probably not. You know what? Maybe. A little bit of... Oh, you motherfucker. Oh well, I don't know. I'll turn you guys back on when I trace it. So, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's my line. It fades away and comes back again. There was some water on the panel, but I can see it. And what I do when I cut this out is I just use my cutoff wheel on my angle grinder, my electric one, and I'll cut right about to where my fingernail is. I like to cut them about 1/8 to 3/16 larger than what I traced out. That way when I take it in the garage I have something to trim to and make sure it fits really nice and perfect. But yeah, I'm going to get my angle grinder out and cut that patch out, and then we'll bring you back in. Okay guys, this is what I got going on here. I got my patch cut out. For this hole right here. It's a bright light. For this hole right here. And what I did was I kind of held it up there so it was lined up on here and over here, and then I started trimming it as it was fitted up in there, and then I gave it a slight little bend. There by hand, you know, with my thumbs and my fingers, and then I just kind of rocked it to see where things would be, and I started trimming it, and I got it close up here, but I didn't get it perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp my patch in along here on the pinch weld, I guess you could call it, and I'm going to clamp it in there, and I'm going to start tacking up along this side and up along this side here, and then once I get to where it starts to curve, I'm going to tack it, bend it, tack it, bend it, tack it, bend it, and I'll slowly work it up and around that curve, tacking it on each side and then pushing it a little more, tacking it on each side, pushing a little more until I get it up to here, and then I'll be able to use my grinder to trim fit the top of that perfect. So let me get this patch up in here and clamped, and I'll probably weld up here and here, and then maybe I'll turn you guys back on and let you watch me tack and bend that metal around that curve. Alright? So let me get her all clamped up.